extinction of existence. It is just climate change on your body and mind. Whenever many deaths of mind happens in same body, it is spiritual evolution. If many bodies die in the same mind, it is unconsciousness, spiritual endarkenment. If more minds die in same body, you are spiritually growing, evolving. If more bodies die in same mind, you are spiritually going down, destroying yourself. Again and again and again, bodies die, minds die. Blessed are those in whom many minds die in one body. Continuously allow minds to be dying. Let your mind, even if you think in a best space, allow it to die. Allow it for transformation. Allowing the mind to die every time in the same body leads you to the highest liberation and celebration. The concept of money, possession, ownership is the side effect of inability to accept the death of the body. The feeling of your son is your extension is also the inability to accept the extinction of body. When you are ready to accept the extinction of the body, the part of you which does not die goes through a powerful transformation and liberates itself from the dying component of you, which is the body. Through this way, it achieves a space where there is no extinction, where there is no death. Death is the most powerful mechanism either to get enlightened or to get yourself drowned in deeper and deeper unconsciousness. Every day, when you fall asleep, it is equivalent to death. When you wake up, it is equivalent to birth. From the deep sleep, if you come to the dreaming state, it is unconscious birth. From the deep sleep, if you come directly to the waking state, it is conscious birth. Every day, you go through birth and death. how you behave with this birth and death which is happening every day is going to decide how you are going to behave with the birth and death which is going to happen with your body, because every day birth and death is nothing but the direct glimpse of the long big birth and big death, which is only as a difference in time but not in space or the place. Your everyday birth and death and every life birth and death happens in same space and place. Only time difference between one birth and the other birth, the time difference between birth death of one and the birth death of the other is different. Death is Guru and God, not oblivion as perceived by body-centered individuals. Death is a boiling process. Whenever your engrams, desires, fear, greed, everything is boiled in the high energy, there is a possibility your desires can become reality, your fears can be conquered, you can be free from both desire and fear if you are ready, courageous enough to face the process with consciousness. Understand? During the death, your desires come in front of you just to make you understand the disillusionment which can be caused by their presence. Fears come in front of you, make you understand they cannot frighten you anymore. But if you do not have the awareness to look into them, you get deluded by them even while they come to reveal the truths about them. It is like mistaking a friend to be an enemy, and before even the friend expresses his friendliness, you thinking he is enemy and dealing him with a different attitude. So when the desires and fears come in front of you during the moment of death, have patience and restful awareness to look into them. They are coming in front of you just to tell you their disillusionment and their ability that they can't frighten you anymore. By not looking at them with a deep restful awareness, those desires are given a wrong extension of life by your unaware unconscious mind. When the desires are given a wrong extension of life, what you experience is heaven. When the fears are given the wrong extension of life, what you experience is hell. With restful awareness, when you deal both of them, what you experience is liberation. Death can be a great Guru to liberate you, and God to give you the ultimate. Having restful awareness in every moments of your life during the great attacks of fear and greed while you are in the body is the best way to prepare for the death and ability to handle your fears and greeds which you may encounter while you leave the body. Moment of the leaving the body is of great importance. That moment will decide the way you are going to continue your further journey.
Nityananda Paramashivoham Om 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 Paramashivoham Om Nityananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Yes, so after this very powerful and intense revelation by Bhagavan Kalabhairava himself, manifesting through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and giving the revelations directly from Akashic records about death, we will now be moving to another video, which is going to be on Swadhisthana Chakra and how to manifest a fearless living. Because for those who don't know, Swadhisthana Chakra is the energy center which is related with the fear engram, the fear pattern. And once we remove the blockages in the Swadhisthana Chakra, we conquer the fears that we have. And ultimately, all fears are nothing but the fear of death itself. Death of some kind, in some dimension. It may be death physically, or it may be death of our identity, the social identity, the image that we have put in front of others. It can be any kind of death. But all fears that we have of losing anything is ultimately related to the fear of death. So fearlessness is eventually boils down to conquering our fear of death itself and removing or cleansing the Swadhisthana Chakra. So let's hear directly from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as he throws more light on this subject and reveals the higher truths on this topic.
Please listen. Fear. If I had to define fear, the self-fulfilling negative prophecy you have about your own life. Self-fulfilling negative prophecy you have about your life. If you believe in astrology, some astrologers written or told you that you are going to have accident in next 6 months, you will make it sure you have accident. Not believing in astrology is one of the biggest freedom you can experience. I tell you, even though astrology is a science, it's a great science, no doubt, but in the modern day, nobody knows the original science. Nobody knows the original science. It has lost its purpose. And in the name of astrology, the beliefs and incompletions you plant within you, astrology is the best example. That's why I chose that. How many of you have belief in this astrology and go on reading every day or listening to TV channel? Raise your hand. Only one, come on. The survey says 90% of the Indians believe. That is why there is no channel where there is astrological readings are not there. Fear is self-fulfilling, negative prophecy. Please listen. Nothing hurts you in your life than fear. Nothing hurts you in your life than fear. Listen. Listen. I'll repeat. Nothing hurts you in your life than fear. Fear. Even if you have some blind technique to break the fear, I tell you, follow it. Now people have really some blind techniques. Just they will chant some stotra, some God's names, or some mantra, or even sometimes cinema song. Now people have their own ways in the night time to walk alone, as if that cinema song will drive away all the ghosts and drive away all the negativity. People have their own. But I tell you, even if it is a crude, raw, blind techniques, anything which can break your fear, even divert your fear. I am not even saying breaking, even if it can divert you from your fear, please use it, because nothing can damage you more than fear. Which would be more, the fear of the known or fear of unknown? I am unable to gauge. Neither fear of known nor fear of unknown. Fear of fear is the most horrible fear. Fear that you may have fear or you will have fear is the most horrible fear. Understand? Any definite thing does not create fear in you. You know for sure next year you are not going to become Bill Gates. You are not afraid of that. But there is a possibility you may gain little money or less money. You have your border. Within that only your fear will be playing. Fear, you may have fear itself within your possibility only. Within your possibilities only. You know for sure there are certain things in your life. You will never be afraid of that. Those few certain things. Death is a possibility, it is not certainty. See, death incident itself is certainty. But the time and the way in which it will happen, all those things are possibilities. We are afraid because the possibility, the freedom is there. The possibility is there. So the worst fear is fear that you may have fear. That's the worst fear. Nothing else is worse than this fear. Known, unknown, even known things can create fear. Even unknown things sometimes may not create fear. But the fear that you may have fear. Afraid of fears, that is the worst fear. Especially these phobias and all is fear of fears only. The moment you have an idea you may have this phobia, you will start having that effect of that phobia. I tell you, all your big patterns are just bio-clock, connected with some bio-clock, that's all. When that time comes, your mouth will ask coffee. When that time comes, cigarette. When the time comes, beer. It is just connected to that bio-clock. Few days, just move. Move them.
If you don't entertain a pattern just for 2-3 months, you will see that becomes powerless on you and just dies. It just dies. It is just biological clock, nothing else. When it is morning, the Manipuraga will become active, asking for food. When it is evening, the Swadhisthana will start getting active, asking for rest and feeling insecure. That is why the evening, always your fears will raise. Once it is night, around 10 or 11, the Mooladhara will become active, asking for the sexual pleasure. This is just a biological clock. That is why the tradition in the Akada Sampradaya, always a sadhu has to take bath after 9 in the cold water, come and sit and meditate. He should not engage himself in any external activity, because any external activity you engage yourself at that time, it will only be searching for sexual pleasure. It will only be inspired by that fire. In the mornings, any activity you do, it will be only inspired, pushed by stomach, Manipuraga. If you are going towards fulfilling that, it will push you. If you are doing something else also, it will be always reminding you, I am here, you are unattending, I am unattended, asking the breakfast fire. Till you attend to it, it will be asking. Same way, by the time it becomes Sandhya, the evening, sunset, the Swadhisthana will become active, bringing life, giving life to fear patterns. By the time it is night, that is why I always insist after 10, you should only do completion and fall asleep. Any action you do, I insist, any action you do, whether attending phone calls or chatting, any action you do, it will be driven by the fire of lust. I tell you, all your patterns are nothing but your biological clock. If you don't entertain them, 2-3 months, suddenly they will become powerless. They won't have any more power over you. Sometimes I wonder, human beings not knowing how to get out of these simple patterns, they mess up their whole lives, getting into worst relationships, suffering so much, giving up on such huge, beautiful possibilities. Never entertain fear starts during sunset. Never entertain lust starts during the night. Never entertain the hunger starts in the early morning when the sun rises. Never entertain all these three, because they are not real. Never make a decision based on all these three. The hunger in the morning should not give you agitation, make you agitated if you don't give food. Never entertain all these three. I am not saying don't eat in the morning. I am saying don't entertain the patterns associated with that morning breakfast. You will see such amount of stress and the confusion gets awakened along with your morning hunger. Same way after the sunset, the amount of fears will get generated.
The fire which is awakened from Mooladhara and which reaches Swadhisthana. See, whenever you are caught by sexual desires, you can feel very clearly the fire will be awakened from Mooladhara and it will reach Swadhisthana, which is awakened, which starts burning in Mooladhara. If it becomes more, you are caught by desire. You see, all fires, all your problems are only this fire. Whether it is a disease or hunger, or everything in your life is this fire only. If this fire reaches Manipura, it becomes a hunger. If this fire does not raise at all, if it is imbalanced, it becomes a disease. If this fire raises and touches Swadhisthana and comes back, it's a sex life, up and down. Understand? Whenever, if this fire raises from Mooladhara and sucked by Swadhisthana, you die. If it reaches Manipura, fully burning, you feel the hunger. If it just reaches Swadhisthana and comes back, then it's like a sex. You go to the pit and fall into that. That is why whenever you finish the sex act, you fall to such a depth or such a valley, you feel practically you are dead. You are dead. The raising and falling of fire, the temperature, that heat, this is a sex act. And from the same Mooladhara, if the fire goes to Swadhisthana, it does not fall back. Just Swadhisthana sucks the whole fire. The fire does not fall back to Mooladhara, means death. This is a circle. Life. This is death. Over. One day night, some 10 hyenas, hyena is a animal, will be very shy as alone, but will attack and kill any human being if they are group. Children means simply they will kill. Simply they will kill. Children are the best dinner for them. They will kill. I was walking alone. It was Amavasya, or just near Amavasya. No light, dark. In those days, the path for going around Arunachala hill was very dark, a narrow road, not even a road, like a forest road. Some 10 hyenas are standing in front of me suddenly. In the midnight, I am all alone with just that one book of songs of Arunachala. From the lower abdomen, Swadhisthana, I gave the voice, Arunachala. I don't know whether the whole Arunachala hill vibrated with that. There appeared an old man with a stick, drove the hyenas away. They all ran away. Somehow I got saved. Otherwise, I would not be here. I will not be sitting here I would have been sitting in their stomach within next few hours. And anyhow, I came back and I narrated the whole story to my Guru Vibhudananda Puri with the deep feeling. From tomorrow I don't need to go to the hill rounding, walking around the hill. And after describing with all the masala and the whole thing, she heard everything. Wow, Arunachala saved you. And I also, of course, Arunachala saved me, no doubt. Next day I expected, see, once Arunachala will come and save. But how can that be a routine? So, next day she said, come on, go for the hill rounding. I was shocked. I asked, what do you mean? Will every day Arunachala come and save me? She just hit at me with one question. Will every day Ainas will come and attack you? Listen. I asked her, will every day Arunachala come and save me? She said, will every day Ainas will come and attack you? That's it. My mother, who is always overprotective of me, I'm going and telling her. She heard the whole thing. Then end of the day she asked me, end of the whole story, what did Pati tell? Pati means my Guru, Vibhudananda Puri. What did she tell? I said what she said. Then she just walked into the room, into the house and said, all right, you go for the walking around the hill. She just walked into the house and said, you go now. Really, I'm telling you, it was a hit on me. Yes, will every day Ainas come and attack me? Then she said, if every day Arunachala also will come, go. I tell you, even now I am seeing it in my life. Whenever Ainas come, Arunachala comes and protects me. It may be 10 Ainas or 12 Ainas or 600 Ainas. Arunachala comes and protects. If I would not have gone next day for my walk around the hill, Giri Pradakshina, I would have continued to be a human being with one divine experience. Because I decide to go, now I am a divine being, one human experience of screaming. If I did not go next day, I would have been a human being with one divine experience of Arunachala coming and protecting me. Because I went, now I am a divine being having only one human experience of screaming in fear. Nowadays, I don't even need to scream and call Arunachala. He is there. Before even the Ainas come near, drives them out, destroys the Ainas. Any problem comes in the form of Ainas. He takes care. He protects me. He drives them out.
Nityananda Paramashivoham Om 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 Nityananda Paramashivoham.
So now, let's enter into the internalization exercise. Now we'll be entering into the internalization exercise. The video just we watched before this video on Swadhisthana chakra. So let's enter into the internalization exercise where will be, if you remember, if you renounce the idea of possessing few things, you will start feeling homely and comfortable with the whole universe. So it is possession of few things which gives the idea. If you renounce this idea of possessing few things, then you will start feeling homely and comfortable with the whole universe. Now, in the first step, sit for a few minutes. Imagine all the wounds, all your sufferings, all your guilts, all your pains, all your tears, all your joys, whatever you had, all your desires, all your karmas in the color of black. Bring it to the papers which you have in your hand. Second step will be relive every moment vividly, as deeply as possible. So let's begin this powerful, very powerful internalization exercise. Let's enter into this exercise. Let's sincerely do this. Okay, so now with this great interval on this internalization, now we're moving on to the next video where Swamiji will be handling the different question and answer on death. So these question answer are the basic questions that all beings that have they have these questions within themselves. So let's hear from Bhagavan himself as he answers these questions.
Listen, I'm going to read out the Akashic records. Sit sincerely, intensely. I can directly download the whole records into your being and it can manifest in you directly as realization. Listen. Kala means the dimension of the universe in which the vibration component, the Parashakti component of Paramashiva manifesting. Understand? When Paramashiva decided to become many and celebrate himself, his Parashakti, decision to become many, started operating on the dimension called Kala. I'll give you an example. Just zoom out, see the space where big bangs and black holes happening simultaneously, billions of planets, suns, moons, stars moving, taking birth, living for millions of years and disappearing simultaneously. That space is Kala. Meditate on that space. In Kala, life comes, lives for billion years and relaxes simultaneously. Billion year beginning and the end exists simultaneously. Without any gap, billions of years exist simultaneously. That dimension is Kala. Understand? Understanding about Kala, meditating on Kala, cognizing Kala will liberate you from death now. You will understand there is no death. Kalabhairava gives you eternal life when you decide to be life positive. Extreme love is life positive, constantly contributing, sharing yourself. Extremely loving is the smell of life positivity. That is the source of Kalabhairava. That is Kalabhairava. Listen. In the world, there are only two types of people. One, continuous contributors. People who go on contributing, loving, caring, enriching. From the time I remember me, the only job I do is continuously enriching each one of your consciousness, adding the best to your best possibility. Understand? You have multi-dimensions: body dimension, psychology dimension, physiology dimension, mind dimension, emotion dimension. Your ultimate dimension is consciousness. I go on contributing, enriching your conscious dimension. From the time I know me, I remember me, I continue to do only one thing, that is constantly contributing and enriching to each one of your conscious dimension, the ultimate dimension of you, consciousness. In the world, there are only two types of people. One, people who go on contributing, contributors. The other, people who go on try to destroy, devils, demons, rakshasas. Understand? Death is the door to different possibilities. Death is the door to the happening. When past and future overlap the life, it gets deluded and forgets its original, natural existence. Death is the moment the influence of the past and the influence of the future is completely moved out. Life stands still in its natural existential reality. Life can be experienced in its purest form in death. Every meditation, every spiritual technique, every kriya helps you only break few patterns, few samskaras, few engrams, but death helps you to break all the patterns, all the possible karmas, all the possible engrams, including agamya prarabdha sanjita. Death can be a great door to experience life existentially. Most of the beings experience life only during death. It is unfortunate they are afraid of their own life's peak existence. It is paradoxical. Beings which are supposed to be excited about life are afraid of the life which expresses itself intensely during death. Death is only for the things which can die in you. But you are deathless. If you are worried about death, you always associate yourself with objects which can die. Objects which can die is not you, neither part of you, nor existential you. It is just added to you. Kalabhairava, when he uses this body, he knows very clearly he is using this body, this brain, this system to relate with the universe, with the human beings. The moment he finishes the job of relating, he does not identify, possess, associate, own, be one with this body or the brain he uses. When you do not own, possess, feel one with the body you are carrying, you will have body and brain, not mind. Mind is the pollution created when you handle the body and brain. Beings having only body and brain, not mind, are pure beings, not afraid of death, as they understand that they are deathless. It is mind creates the association, possession, ownership, and creates the idea of death. Death is liberation and celebration. It is a natural conscious digestion process, gift given to every individual soul tormented by the ignorance that they are separated from the whole, constantly reminding them anything which separates them, including the concepts, is impermanent. Anything which makes them feel as departed part of the whole is impermanent. To make every individual soul understand that the concept of your individuality is imagination and impermanent, death is given as a natural boon to the whole universe. Here, Mahadeva reads out the signs of death for the seekers and for the people who want to cross the death. Death is of 7 types experienced by human beings. First, the man who feels he is nothing more than a body. He experiences oblivion as death. He feels end of his identity is death. End of his individual existence is death, which is obviously false. Illusion, delusion, which brings tremendous suffering, and the suffering constantly tortures him and does not let him live even while he is having the body. Next, the person who is completely centered on desires. He has a greed and cannot understand the possibility for a breakthrough. So he continuously extends his greed even after he leaves the body. All the concepts exist in all half-baked philosophies and religious concepts, the concepts of heaven, an extended life where the desires are fulfilled, where the continuum of the desires exist, is extended delusion of desire-based individual identity setup. The fourth death, death from the pain. Even the pain is also a projected delusion from the root pattern. It does not exist and it cannot coexist with the existence of the cosmic soul, as the cosmic soul's presence is felt every day by your individual soul in the deep sleep and the restful awareness. The pain pattern also faces the death. When the pain pattern faces the death, the experience the individual soul goes through is depression. Depression is not even the existence of pain. When you don't even project your pain, when you are not even capable of projecting your pain on the reality, the comparative reality, the constant torture you do to yourself with the seed is depression. Seed which cannot grow but continues to exist as a living seed is depression. The death from the depression is the sixth death, called dark night of the soul. Every soul goes through this dark night during the sleep in the form of a unrememberable nightmare every day. Morning, when you come out of the nightmare and can't remember the scenes but only can experience the feeling of the nightmare, it is dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is the near-death experience for so many individuals. All the individuals who record the near-death experience as being pulled into the cave and pushed out with a tremendous pain is near-death experience, which is nothing but the dark night of the soul in the long term. When the dark night of the soul happens every night, it is called nightmare. When the nightmare happens once in a life, it is called near-death experience. So the seventh death, the seventh form of the death, which is beyond the dark night of the soul, happens as nibbana, nirvana, extinction of the individual deluded identity. The extinction of the individual deluded identity is the ultimate death, which is liberation and celebration. What you
Yes. So with this profound revelation by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as Bhagavan Kalabhairava himself, the Akashic reading on death, we will now be closing today's series of sessions on death in Paramashivoham Level 2 you can head over to the YouTube and the official SPH channel, and where the entire series on the Akashic readings on death by Bhagavan Kalabhairava in the form of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is available. You can just search on the YouTube in the channel itself, and you will be guided to the playlist on death itself. So with this, we now come to the end of this day of Paramashivoham Level 2. Tomorrow again, we will be meeting, starting with the yoga, 3-hour intense yoga session, followed by first time and perform the 3-hour intense yoga session. So you are very well receptive throughout the day to all the powerful cognitions and initiations. So let's now end the session today with the Purna Mantra, holding our hands in the Atmanjali Mudra, expressing deep gratitude towards the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavad Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam Namastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.